In this video, I would like to illustrate how to obtain the variable names code from Fred that will be needed if we want to import a time series from the Fred database. So we are now in the Fred web database interface. And let's say I want to study some data about people that have college education. So I type the keyword graduates. I could have typed some other word, and I look and see what Fred has to offer in terms of variables. Maybe I have in mind to do some research comparing the unemployment rate by type of education. So I'm going to concentrate on these. Let's see what we have. We have 2 doctoral degree, 25 years and over, and bachelor's degree 25 years and over. They're both not seasonally adjusted. They're both percent unemployment and monthly. So this is good. And the period of observation is to January 2000 to December 2022. And the last time it was updated was January 6th, so you can see here. So these are pretty comparable time series. And maybe I just want to start as an example with these two. So what I'm going to do is just start by first plotting the bachelor's degree. And so as you click in the variable, Fred is going to just plot it, and it's going to give you some metadata, the units of the data, whether it's not seasonally adjusted, and it's monthly data, and also the last time it was updated, January 6, 2023. And it has observations available from January 1st, 2000 to December 1st, 2022. So let's leave it like that. And now let's say I want to, and also I have the code name. So I write down on a piece of paper this code name, CGBD250. This is a no, not a zero. So let's say I want to compare these data. I want to compare this data set with the one for the doctoral degree. So I can do a lot of preliminary getting feeling for the data just in Fred before I even import it into R to do R things that cannot be done in Fred. So for example, I observe here a cyclical behavior that's sort of increasing over time. So there's a cycle here. A cycle is just a periodic behavior that takes several years. Okay, so you see the peak at a particular year, and then over the next or and the previous years, the values are smaller. So it's not a seasonal. Seasonal means it happens within the year, a cycle, but here it's just takes more years. And so the core business cycles when it refers to economic variables. We can see that the second big cycle here has much longer length, and it goes from about 2008 to the trough happens around 2015. So about 7 years, took about 7 years, whereas this one took from 2000. Yeah, it also took another 7 years. So they take 7 years to, okay, the peak occurs within those 7 years. But this one is not a business cycle. This one here is when COVID started, and it's a neutral observation. You can see that because it's a sudden increase. And in a particular, let's see, this point is in April 2020, which is when the pandemic started in March, pretty much, and we started to get into it heavily. And then unemployment eventually started going down for the bachelor's degree. So the cycles are happening at higher amplitude over time. So if you look at the slider, then again, a feeling we can get is that if you look at the slider in detail, the seasonality is not very regular here. We don't have very regular seasonality. It seems like there is some kind of ups and downs, but it could be just noise. Seasonality is very small, obviously. So you do not expect seasonality in this heavy seasonality in this data set, in this time series. So those are good things to anticipate before you start applying methods. I mean, you don't apply, you need to make sure that later on we apply methods that are appropriate. So you would, if there is not much seasonality, don't expect it, so don't model it too much. So more on that later. But we wanted also to compare these. So how do we do that? How do we add a variable here in Fred? So let's say we want to add a line. So if we want to add a line, we can add now the other variable, which we can just say, we can just enter here the the other variable that we are interested in, which is college graduates. Let's see, graduates, and let's see what we have. We have master's degree, 20, we had our time series from before is not showing up. Doctoral, okay, so we want the doctoral degree. 25 years and over, here it is. So we add this time series, and notice how it's going to show in different color. And we observe that throughout time, unemployment rate for people with a doctoral degree is much lower than for the people with a bachelor's degree. And they were not affected as much by the COVID pandemic as the bachelor's degree, the unemployment for this group. And we can also see that it follows some kind of cycle, but the cycle is less extreme. It goes up less than for the bachelor's degree. So it's also cyclical behavior. If you look at windows of the data, you can see not very regular seasonality, ups and downs, but not very regular seasonality here either. So I would not expect much seasonality. What matters to us is that we have a legend here telling us what each time series is, the period of study for the host time series, and then we have the code. This is what we need for the reading of the data into R. We're using the Quandl API. So I take note of this code, CGBD250, CGDD250. That's all we are going to use. And then we move from here to using R in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this introduction. You could add more time series in your own exercises later on. You can add more time series. You can explore different topics and so on. But for now, we'll leave it here and let you explore.